Stop scrolling. This coin could change your life. Don't ignore this. Right now, if there's a Susan B. Anthony $1 coin anywhere near you and the date ends in a 4, do not spend it. Yes, I'm serious. Every single day, people toss these coins into tip jars, vending machines, coin trays, and cash drawers without even looking. And that's exactly how silent fortunes disappear. Because here's the truth most people miss. These coins don't look rare. They don't shine. They don't scream value. That's the trap. Some examples with the right year, mint mark, condition, or rare minting error have sold for over $15,000. Yes, for a single dollar coin. And here's the secret nobody talks about. The less people understand these coins, the easier they are for collectors to pull them out of circulation. So before you spend that coin, check your pocket, check your wallet, check your change jar. Because the coin you ignore today could be worth thousands tomorrow. And trust me, from here the coins only get rarer, scarier, and more valuable. Stay with me until the end. This is Numismatic Vault Extra, USA, United States. And these coins change everything. Money bag. The story of the 1979 piece Susan B. Anthony dollar begins with a moment in American history when the United States was searching for a new symbol on its currency. For decades, many American coins had honored presidents and historical leaders. But in the late 20th century, there was a growing desire to recognize individuals who had changed the course of social history. This vision eventually led to the creation of a new $1 coin that would honor one of the most influential women in American history. The woman chosen for this historic coin was Susan B. Anthony, a powerful leader in the movement for women's rights. Born in the 19th century, Anthony dedicated her life to fighting for equality, especially the right of women to vote. Her speeches, activism, and determination helped inspire the movement that eventually led to the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which granted American women the right to vote in 1920. Decades after her death, the United States decided to honor her legacy by placing her portrait on a circulating coin. This decision made history because it marked the first time a real woman, rather than a symbolic figure, appeared on everyday United States currency. The coin became a tribute not only to Anthony herself, but also to the broader struggle for equality and civil rights. The coin was produced by the United States Mint, the government institution responsible for creating the nation's coins. In 1979, the Mint began producing millions of the new dollar coins at several facilities. One of the most important production locations was the Philadelphia Mint, which marked its coins with the letter P. These coins are known to collectors as the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollars. Designing a new coin required both artistic vision and technical precision. The front side of the coin features a detailed portrait of Susan B. Anthony. Her face appears strong and determined, capturing the spirit of a woman who spent her life challenging injustice and demanding equal rights. Around the portrait appear the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," reflecting the traditional themes found on American coinage. The reverse side of the coin carries a design connected to one of the greatest achievements in American exploration. It shows an eagle landing on the surface of the moon, a powerful symbol inspired by the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. This design represents human achievement, exploration, and the bold spirit of discovery that has shaped the history of the United States. The coin itself was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than pure silver. Although its appearance resembles silver, the metal mixture was chosen to keep production costs low while ensuring durability in circulation. The coin's color appears slightly grayish, and its edge contains visible copper layers within the clad structure. When the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced, the government hoped it would replace the paper $1 bill. Officials believed coins would last longer and reduce long-term costs for the nation's currency system. Large numbers of these coins were produced in anticipation of widespread use. However, the coin faced an unexpected challenge. Its size and color were very similar to the quarter, which caused confusion among the public. Many people found it difficult to distinguish between the two coins quickly, especially in busy situations such as vending machines or stores. Because of this confusion, the coin never became as popular as officials had hoped. Many Americans continued to prefer the paper dollar bill. As a result, large quantities of Susan B. Anthony dollars remained unused in bank vaults for many years. Despite this early challenge, collectors eventually developed a deep interest in these coins. Over time, the Susan B. Anthony dollar became an important chapter in the history of United States coinage. It represented both a social milestone and a unique experiment in American currency design. Among collectors, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is often studied carefully for different varieties and minting details. One of the most famous variations involves the design of the coin's date. Some coins show a wide rim, where the rim appears closer to the date, while others display a narrow rim version. These small design differences can create significant interest among collectors. Condition is another key factor that determines the value of a coin. A coin that circulated heavily in everyday commerce will usually show scratches, worn surfaces, and dull color. But coins that were stored carefully can remain in brilliant uncirculated condition with bright mint luster. Professional coin graders examine coins under magnification to determine their condition and assign numerical grades. A coin graded near the top of the scale can become much more desirable because very few examples survive in such pristine form. In rare situations, collectors may compete intensely for the finest examples available. This competition can push prices higher, especially when a coin combines excellent condition with an unusual variety or minting characteristic. Stories sometimes circulate in the collecting community about coins reaching dramatic values. Enthusiasts imagine the possibility that a special Susan B. Anthony dollar could reach prices such as $20,000 if it were a rare variety preserved in extraordinary condition. These stories capture the imagination of collectors around the world. The idea that a coin worth only $1 could someday be worth thousands inspires people to search through old coin jars, inherited collections, and forgotten bankrolls. The journey of a single 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar can be remarkable. After leaving the mint, it may have been shipped to banks, then used in everyday purchases such as groceries, transportation, or vending machines. Each transaction added another chapter to the coin's life. Eventually, many of these coins were stored away when the public lost interest in using them regularly. Over time, they became small historical artifacts representing the late 20th century and the social progress that shaped American society. Today, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar stands as a powerful symbol. It honors a woman whose determination helped transform democracy in the United States. It also represents a unique period in the history of American coinage when the country experimented with new ideas for its currency. For collectors, coins like this are far more than metal discs. They are pieces of history that connect modern people to the struggles, achievements, and ambitions of earlier generations. Somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten drawer or a small box of coins, a perfectly preserved example of this dollar might still be waiting to be discovered. And that possibility, the chance that a simple coin could hold both history and unexpected value, is what continues to make coin collecting such an exciting and rewarding pursuit. Next up, the story of the 1980 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar begins during an interesting moment in the history of American money. By the late 1970s, the United States wanted to modernize its currency system and create a practical $1 coin that could replace paper bills in everyday use. This decision led to the introduction of a new coin that would carry both historical meaning and a powerful symbol of social progress. The coin honored Susan B. Anthony, one of the most determined leaders in the fight for women's rights in the United States. Born in the 19th century, Anthony spent her entire life campaigning for equality. She organized meetings, delivered speeches, and traveled across the country encouraging Americans to support women's voting rights. Her lifelong dedication helped inspire the historic 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which finally granted American women the right to vote in 1920. Although Anthony passed away before seeing this victory, her influence remained powerful in American history. Many decades later, the United States decided to honor her contributions by placing her portrait on a circulating coin. This decision was historic because it marked the first time that a real American woman appeared on a standard circulating coin of the United States rather than a symbolic female figure. The coin was produced by the United States Mint, the government agency responsible for creating the nation's coins. In 1980, large numbers of Susan B. Anthony dollars were struck at several mint facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint. Coins produced there carried the mint mark P, which collectors identify as the Philadelphia issue. The design of the coin was created by U.S. Mint engraver Frank Gasparo, who had also designed several other famous American coins. His goal was to capture the determination and intelligence of Susan B. Anthony while maintaining the traditional style of American coinage. On the front side of the coin appears Anthony's portrait facing right. Her expression is calm yet strong, reflecting the courage she showed during her decades of activism. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, along with the year 1980 and the mint mark. The reverse side of the coin carries a dramatic design inspired by one of the greatest achievements in American history. It shows an eagle landing on the surface of the moon, holding an olive branch in its claws. This image is directly connected to the historic Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969, when American astronauts first stepped onto the lunar surface. The eagle symbolizes courage and exploration, while the olive branch represents peace. Together, they create a powerful image celebrating both technological achievement and the hope for a peaceful future. Although the coin appears silver in color, it is not made of pure silver. Instead, it uses a copper-nickel-clad composition similar to many other modern American coins. This construction gives the coin strength and durability, allowing it to survive years of circulation without excessive wear. When the Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced, government officials hoped it would become widely used in everyday transactions. Coins generally last longer than paper bills, so replacing the $1 note with a coin could save money over time. However, the coin quickly faced a practical problem. Its size and color were very similar to the quarter dollar, which caused confusion among the public. Many people accidentally mistook it for a quarter, especially when making quick purchases. Because of this confusion, the coin never achieved the popularity that officials expected. Many Americans preferred to continue using the paper dollar bill, which they found easier to recognize and carry. As a result, large numbers of Susan B. Anthony dollars remained used in bank vaults. Production slowed dramatically after the early 1980s, and the coin eventually disappeared from regular circulation. Despite this early disappointment, collectors later began to appreciate the historical importance of the coin. It represents a significant moment in American cultural history and stands as a tribute to the struggle for equality. Among collectors, the 1980 piece Susan B. Anthony dollar has become an interesting piece to study. Experts often examine these coins carefully for unusual varieties, minting errors, or differences in design details that might make certain examples more desirable. Sometimes coins are struck slightly off-center, or small doubling appears in the letters and numbers due to tiny variations in the minting process. These unusual features can turn an ordinary coin into a fascinating collectible. Condition is another major factor that influences a coin's value. Coins that circulated heavily may show scratches, worn surfaces, and dull color. But coins that remained carefully preserved can still display their original mint luster and sharp details. Professional grading companies evaluate coins using precise standards and assign them numerical grades. Coins with extremely high grades are much rarer than typical examples and often attract strong interest from collectors. In rare situations where a coin combines outstanding condition with a unique minting characteristic, collectors sometimes imagine values reaching impressive levels. Stories occasionally circulate about coins potentially reaching $20,000 if they are extraordinary specimens sought by passionate collectors. These stories inspire many people to search through old coin jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers. The possibility that a $1 coin could someday be worth thousands of dollars adds excitement to the hobby of coin collecting. The journey of a single 1980 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar may have included countless transactions. It might have been used in vending machines, bus fares, or small purchases before eventually being stored away when people stopped using the coin regularly. Over time, many of these coins became quiet reminders of an era when the United States experimented with new ideas for its currency. They now serve as historical artifacts that connect modern collectors with the social and political changes of the late 20th century. Today, the 1980 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar represents more than just a piece of metal. It tells the story of a woman who fought for equality, a nation exploring new forms of currency, and a historical moment when progress and tradition met on a single coin. For collectors and history enthusiasts alike, coins like this offer a fascinating connection to the past. Each coin carries both the story of the person it honors and the countless journeys it has taken through everyday life. And somewhere, perhaps hidden in an old collection or a forgotten box of coins, a remarkable example of this dollar may still be waiting to be discovered, reminding us that even the smallest objects can carry powerful stories and unexpected value. Next up, the story of the small dollar coin that would eventually honor Susan B. Anthony began during the 1970s, when the United States was searching for a new direction in its currency system. At that time, the country was still using the large and heavy Eisenhower dollar, a coin that many Americans found inconvenient for everyday use. The government began exploring the idea of creating a smaller dollar coin that could move easily through the economy and replace the bulky designs of the past. During the mid-1970s, discussions inside the United States Treasury became increasingly serious. Officials believed that modern vending machines, transportation systems, and retail businesses would benefit from a smaller, practical dollar coin. This idea sparked a nationwide conversation about what the new coin should look like and who it should honor. In those discussions, one historical figure quickly stood out. Susan B. Anthony had become one of the most respected names in the history of American civil rights. She was not a president, a military commander, or a traditional political leader. Instead, she was a fearless advocate for equality who had dedicated her life to expanding democracy. Anthony was born in 1820 and spent decades traveling across the United States giving speeches about justice and women's rights. At a time when women were not allowed to vote, her message was bold and revolutionary. She believed that democracy could not truly exist until women had the same political rights as men. Her activism helped inspire one of the most important constitutional changes in American history. In 1920, the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified, granting women the right to vote. Though Anthony had passed away years earlier, her influence was a major reason this historic victory became possible. By the late 20th century, many Americans believed Anthony deserved recognition on the nation's currency. Coins had long celebrated presidents and national heroes, but few had honored the social reformers who helped transform the country's democratic ideals. In 1978, legislation was passed authorizing the creation of a new dollar coin bearing her portrait. This decision made history because it marked the first time a real American woman appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. The moment represented not only a tribute to Anthony, but also recognition of the broader struggle for equality. The task of designing the coin was given to U.S. Mint chief engraver Frank Gasparo. Gasparo was already known for his work on several famous American coins. He carefully studied portraits and photographs of Susan B. Anthony in order to create a design that captured both her determination and her dignity. On the front of the coin, Anthony's portrait faces to the right. Her expression is calm but powerful, reflecting the strength she demonstrated during decades of activism. Surrounding her image are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin carries a design inspired by one of humanity's greatest achievements. It features a bald eagle landing on the surface of the moon while holding an olive branch. This image was adapted from the insignia of the Apollo 11 moon landing, a mission that represented technological progress and human courage. Although the coin has a bright silver appearance, It is not made from precious silver. Instead, it uses a copper-nickel-clad composition. Layers of copper and nickel surround a copper core, creating a durable coin capable of surviving many years of circulation. Wikipedia. The coin measures about 26.5 millimeters in diameter and weighs roughly 8.1 grams. Its edge contains narrow ridges known as reeding, a feature common on many American coins. Wikipedia. When the new dollar coin was released in 1979, the government had high hopes for its success. Millions of coins had already been produced in preparation for nationwide circulation. Banks received large shipments, and advertising campaigns encouraged Americans to begin using the new dollar coin. However, the coin soon faced an unexpected challenge. Its size and color were very similar to the quarter dollar, which led many people to confuse the two coins during everyday transactions. Wikipedia. This confusion caused frustration among both consumers and businesses. Even though the coin carried a value of $1, people often mistook it for a 25-cent coin. As a result, the Susan B. Anthony dollar never achieved the widespread popularity that government officials had hoped for. Large quantities of the coins remained stored in Federal Reserve vaults rather than circulating through the economy. Despite its struggles in everyday use, the coin gradually gained importance among collectors. Numismatics, people who study and collect coins, recognize the historical significance of the design and the story behind it. Collectors also discovered several interesting varieties of the coin, including differences in the spacing of the date near the rim. These small variations added an element of excitement to the hobby. Coins preserved in exceptional condition can become particularly desirable. When a coin retains its original mint luster and sharp design details, collectors often compete to acquire it for their collections. In rare circumstances, a perfectly preserved example of a Susan B. Anthony dollar can attract impressive prices at auctions. Some extraordinary specimens have been reported to reach values approaching $20,000, especially when rarity and condition combine to create a truly remarkable coin. Stories like these capture the imagination of collectors everywhere. The possibility that a simple $1 coin might hold hidden value encourages people to search through jars of old coins and inherited collections. Today, the Susan B. Anthony dollar stands as a powerful reminder of both American history and social progress. It honors a woman who challenged injustice while also representing a bold experiment in modern currency design. And somewhere, perhaps tucked away in a forgotten drawer or an old coin album, a remarkable example might still be waiting to be discovered, ready to surprise its owner with a story, a piece of history, and possibly a fortune. Next up, the story of the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar begins during a fascinating period in American monetary history. In the late 1970s, the United States was searching for a modern coin that could replace bulky dollar coins that had become unpopular with the public. The government wanted a smaller, lighter, and more practical coin that could easily move through vending machines, transportation systems, and daily transactions. This idea sparked one of the most interesting experiments in American coinage, the creation of the Susan B. Anthony dollar. Before this coin existed, the United States had been circulating the large Eisenhower dollar, a coin that many people considered too heavy and inconvenient. Businesses complained that it was difficult to store, and consumers rarely carried it in their pockets. Because of this growing frustration, officials at the U.S. Treasury began planning a completely new type of dollar coin that would fit better into modern life. At the same time, America was experiencing a powerful cultural shift. Historians and lawmakers believed that the nation's coins should represent more than presidents and military heroes. They wanted to celebrate individuals who had fought for freedom and equality. One name quickly rose to the top of the discussion: Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony was one of the most influential leaders of the American women's rights movement. Born in 1820, she spent her entire life fighting for justice and equality. She traveled across the country giving speeches, organizing campaigns, and demanding the right for women to vote. Her courage and persistence helped inspire the passage of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote in 1920. To honor this extraordinary legacy, Congress approved a plan to place her portrait on a new dollar coin. When the coin was officially authorized in 1978, it made history. For the first time in American history, a real woman, not a symbolic figure, would appear on a circulating United States coin. The design of the coin was created by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. Gasparo carefully studied portraits of Susan B. Anthony and sculpted a design that captured her determination and intelligence. On the front of the coin, Anthony's profile appears facing right, surrounded by the words Liberty and In God We Trust, along with the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin features one of the most inspiring images ever used on American currency. It shows a powerful bald eagle descending onto the surface of the moon while holding an olive branch. This design was inspired by the insignia of the Apollo 11 mission, the historic spaceflight that first landed humans on the moon. Although many people call the coin a silver dollar, it is not actually made of silver. The coin uses a copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of about 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a copper core inside. This mixture gives the coin its bright silver-colored appearance, while making it durable enough for everyday circulation. Use coinbook.com. The coin measures approximately 26.5 millimeters in diameter and weighs about 8.1 grams, making it smaller than earlier dollar coins. Its edge is reeded, meaning it has tiny ridges around the rim, a feature that helps prevent counterfeiting and wear. Use coinbook.com. Production of the Susan B. Anthony dollar began in 1979 at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each coin carried a mint mark indicating where it was produced. The coin discussed in this script, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar, was struck at the Denver Mint and bears the small letter D on the coin. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of these coins during that first year. In fact, approximately 288,015,744 coins were struck in Denver alone. Because so many were made, the coin was never truly rare in circulation. Coinweek.com+1. When the new dollar coin was released on July 2, 1979, the government expected Americans to quickly embrace it. Banks were stocked with millions of coins, and advertising campaigns encouraged people to start using them in everyday purchases. However, the public response was not what officials expected. The coin size and color were very similar to the quarter dollar, and many people accidentally confused the two coins. This confusion created frustration during everyday transactions. Because of this problem, the Susan B. Anthony dollar never became widely popular in circulation. Many banks ended up storing large quantities of the coins in vaults instead of releasing them to the public. Even though the coin struggled in daily use, it eventually became a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. Collectors began studying the coin closely, searching for rare conditions, unusual minting errors, and exceptional examples. Most circulated 1979 D coins are still worth around their face value of $1. However, coins that remain in mint state condition can sell for higher prices. For example, uncirculated examples graded around MS65 may sell for about $25, while coins graded MS67 can reach several $100s. Tokak+1. The most remarkable examples are those preserved in extremely high grades. In one famous case, a nearly perfect 1979 D coin graded MS68 sold at auction for about $1,528, showing how condition can dramatically increase a coin's value. Tokak+1. Stories like these inspire collectors around the world to search through old coin jars and inherited collections. The dream that a simple coin might hold hidden value continues to capture the imagination of millions of people. Some collectors even speculate that extraordinary error coins or unique specimens could someday command much higher prices, possibly reaching thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in rare circumstances. Although the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar may not automatically make someone a millionaire, it still represents a powerful piece of history. It tells the story of a nation experimenting with modern currency while honoring one of the most courageous activists in American history. Today, every 1979, D. Susan B. Anthony dollar carries a message beyond its $1 value. It reminds us of the fight for equality, the evolution of American coinage, and the enduring fascination of coin collecting. And somewhere in an old coin jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or a dusty family collection, a brilliant uncirculated example might still be waiting to be discovered, ready to surprise its owner with a remarkable story and perhaps a surprisingly valuable treasure.